Hi guys, I am Yashodhan Agnihotri, a final year student at IIIT Pune, and I will be your host for today. Welcome to our channel, Learn Competitive Programming with CodeChef. On this channel, we post weekly problem explanations and concept videos. Also, if you are interested in competitive programming and want to master data structures and algorithms, this is the place for you. So, what are you waiting for? Click on that subscribe button and kickstart your journey towards competitive programming today. Today, we are going to discuss the problem maximum value. This problem appeared in February Starters 2021. The difficulty level of the problem is cakewalk and the prerequisites are none. Let us now have a look at the problem statement. Given an array A of size n, so we have an array with n integers, we have to find the maximum value of the expression a into b plus a minus b. So the expression is basically a into b plus a minus b. So max value of this expression should be our answer, where a and b are two distinct elements of the array. Now let us take an example. Say 7, 5 and minus 1 and minus 3. Now over here let us take a and b to be 7 and 5. So here we can clearly see 7 into 5, 35 plus 7 minus 5. The answer will be 42 minus 5, so 37. If you check all pairs of array elements, we can see that 37 will be the maximum answer. Now having seen this, let us move forward with the solution approach. Starting off with the solution approach, let us take that we have an array with the elements x, y and z. Now we have the equation given to us that v is equal to a into b plus a minus b, right? Now let us consider that the array is reverse sorted. Okay. Also let us consider one more thing over here, that y is equal to z plus 1. Y is just one element greater than z. Now we can clearly see that the value of a should be the greatest element, that is x, because a contributes to the value, making it maximum depending upon how big the value of a is. So a should be the greatest value in the array. So we can phrase the array as x into b plus x minus b. Now let us see what should be b. First, let us check if b is y. Then v will be equal to x into y plus x minus y. Next, let us check if b is equal to z. Then what is the value of v? V is equal to x into y minus 1 plus x minus y minus 1. Let us rephrase this. So this will become xy minus x plus x plus 1 minus y. Therefore, I will write it over here that v is equal to xy plus 1 minus y. Right. So let us name it v2 and this let us name it v1. And so v1 was xy plus x minus y. Right. So we can clearly see over here that if x is greater than 0, right, then v1 will always be greater than or equal to v2. Correct. So what we have learned from here, that if x is greater than 0, that is if the largest element is a positive one, then it is always good to take the top two magnitude elements. Okay. Now let us see the next case where the largest element is equal to 0. Now let us see the next case where the greatest element among of the array is equal to 0. So let us write our equation. V is equal to a into b plus a minus b. Now again replacing the greatest element over here. Therefore then v is equal to minus b. Right, because a is equal to 0. So v is equal to minus b. Therefore what we can see from over here, that if the greatest element is 0, that means like the least element will obviously be less than or the least element will be less than or equal to 0. Sorry, right? Now we can clearly see from over here that if B is the most negative element, so B should be most negative element, then we will have max value, because it is obvious that we are taking minus B over here. So for B to have maximum value, B should be the most negative element. So for this case, we have to take A is equal to 0 and B is equal to most negative. That is, we have to take the largest and smallest. Correct. Now let us see a case 3 where the answer will be something other than cases 1 and 2. So here we move to case 3 where we have such a type of array where we have two positive elements and the other two are negative elements. Now let us let us see the value of the equation when we take the top two positive elements. So V1 will be equal to 8 into 7 plus 8 minus 7. So it will be equal to 56 plus 8 minus 7, which is equal to 57. Now let us see what will be the value if minus 8 and minus 9 are taken as the two elements. So here V2, so here obviously A will be equal to minus 8 and B will be equal to minus 9, because we are subtracting B, and so to maximize this value, B should be the greater magnitude element. So here it will be minus 8 into minus 9 plus minus 8 minus of minus 9. So it will be equal to 72 minus 8 plus 9. So the value became 73. So here what we have understood, that the top two positive elements always don't help. If there are top two negative elements which are actually greater than which are greater in magnitude than the top two positive elements, then these two should be our A and B. Therefore, what we have to consider basically in the final solution. So let me just, yeah. So in the final solution, first thing to do is sort the array so that we get to know which is the greatest and lowest elements. Now, once we have sorted the array, let us take the first case where we define our mx1 as our answer with the top two greatest elements, that is the n minus 1th element and the nth element, where n is A and n minus 1 is B. So maybe I should write it like this: answer of n minus 1. Okay, where n is A and n minus 1 is B. Now let us take mx2 as the second case that we saw, where the answer will be the last element and the first element, right? Like the maximum element and the minimum element. So n will be again A, nth element, and the first element will be B. Now let us take the last case, mx3, where the answer will be the first two elements, right, as we saw. So it will be 1 and 0. We saw in case 3, right? It should be 1 and 0 because, sorry, not 1 and 0. We are doing with 1 based indexing. So it should be 2 and 1. Answer of 2 and 1. Second element and first element. So second element should be the value A and first element should be the value B. So now, having found these three values, max 1, max 2 and max 3, we just have to take the maximum value among these three, and that will be our answer, because the answer can only be one of these three values, as we saw earlier in the casework. Now, having seen this, let us go to the C++ implementation. Coming over to the C++ implementation, let us see what the implementation is. First, here I have defined this answer function, which given the value of A and B returns us the value of the equation. Now, coming over to the main part, first I have taken input t, which is the number of test cases. Then I have taken input n, which is the number of elements in the array. Then I have taken input the array and stored it in a vector. Now I've sorted the array as we saw in the solution. Here I found max1, where max1 is the second element and first element. So second element will be A over here and first element will be B. As we saw that B could be the most negative element if max1 was to be the answer. Now max2. So what was max2? Max2 was the top two greatest positive elements, like top two greatest elements. That was max2. And max3 was the greatest element and the smallest element as A and B respectively. So these three are the possible answers which can be, and what we just have to do is find out the max of these three elements. So we do it here and we output the answer on a separate line. So having seen this, now let us submit this solution and let us hope for a quick AC. There, we got an AC. I hope you understood the solution.